Hey nerds, welcome to JerAwards. Today we're going to recap season 6 of Lucifer, the final season of Lucifer. Lucifer's done. 93 episodes have all been knocked out. All 93 episodes are here on YouTube as well. They are on Patreon if you guys want to go check them out over there. The first and last episode, season 1, episode 1, the pilot, and, well, just pilot. In season 6, episode 10, Partners Forever, I think that's the title. Those are free on Patreon if you want to check them out. I think there's a couple other ones sprinkled in as well that ended up being free due to some technical issues. But regardless, all that stuff's over here. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe for daily content. If there's a day, there's a reaction. Links are in the description box down below for the Patreon, the Twitch stream, and everything in between. Jerry, well, he doesn't have to go behind the scenes. He's going to hang out with us today as we recap this. If you are new here, what we do at the end of each of our big shows, seasons, is we recap the season. We just say some good talking points, and then we do the JerAwards, such as favorite scene, favorite kiss, favorite most heartbreaking scene, and then so on and so forth, all wrapped up with a rest in peace to those who died along the way. And, you know, that's what it is. So, but let's do it. Season 6 is a doozy. It is an absolute doozy. If you watch the finale, there's a 15-minute rant about how I feel about that finale. But we're not here to talk about just the finale. We're here to talk about season 6 as a whole. So what happens throughout season 6? Well, Dan's down in purgatory, or he's in hell, and Lucifer's basically called off the hounds. No torturing. Dan's down there playing ping pong for the rest of eternity. And Lucifer is just ready to take his position as the big God. He's still a little hesitant, but he wants to take a couple final days. Chloe's no longer a detective, and Lucifer's ready to just take on this responsibility. Or is he? We see a strange person down there in the old HE double hockey stick with fishnets and boots and stuff and red metal wings. They end up bringing Dan up to the Midgard. Ends up bringing him to Earth. He's now intangible. He can't touch nothing, feel nothing. Nobody can see him other than celestials, and he can't go back to hell. Only thing he can really do is ascend to heaven, but he doesn't know why he feels guilty, and that's his arc overall in this season. The person that came up here with these red wings is none other than Rory Morningstar? Rory Decker? I don't know what name they ended up going with. Rory Decker Star. You know what I'm saying? It's Lucifer's daughter from the future. Hashtag Fire Emblem, hashtag sci-fi. So, she's here basically saying Lucifer abandons her as a child and is never there for Chloe and leaves her alone on her deathbed in the future. And Lucifer's like, I would never do that. So it's a lot of trying to resolve the now to change the future. But apparently, according to Rory, what happened has already happened, which has caused this loop. So it's inevitable why he leaves. And there's multiple different reasons they think he leaves. He's murdered, he's kidnapped, he ascends to the heavens, something no matter what it is he wants to try to avoid it. And rather than that happening, the future actually plays out as it needs to be because Lucifer decides not to be God. And Amenadiel takes up their responsibilities. Lucifer decides that his purpose is to cure the damned souls in heaven, or in hell, so they can all go to heaven to live the eternal life and to feel the ray of sunshine. Even the bad ones. I guess he's even going to talk, you know, Saddam and Hitler and Stalin and I don't know, Ronald Reagan. I guess he's going to say all the people and help them get up to the old heavens. I don't know how that's, you know, that's his plan. And that's the reason he leaves. And Chloe keeps that information from her daughter. So Rory thinks that he walks out. So Rory self-actualizes time travel. Boom, goes back in time and creates this loop. Bing, bam, bop. Lucifer ends up going down to hell for all of eternity to heal the lost souls before he can be reunited with Chloe. And the only way he can be reunited with Chloe is if she dies. Chloe has to live her late 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, however old she ended up being, by herself. Did she date again? No, because she told Lucifer, whenever you're alone, think of me and we'll in your head. Rory grows up without a father. And Lucifer's just down there having therapy sessions with all the damn souls. Dan ends up having a conversation with Trixie while in the body of the person who killed him. While doing that, he's guilt-free. He goes to heaven. He can be with Charlotte. Ella snaps at everybody for being left out of the inner circle of knowing what Celestials are and ends up happily ever after with Carol. Eve and Maze have some growing pains, but end up having a full-blown marriage. Happily ever after. Amenadiel's god comes down to raise his baby. Baby Charlie grows wings when he hits puberty. Good to go. Trixie, who knows if she ever knows if there were Celestials or not? Did she ever know that conversation was actually with her dad and not some random stranger? Where's Trixie in the finale? At that last moment with Chloe on her deathbed. It's just Rory. Rest in peace to all the people that also died around Chloe. Like, I mean, you know, Ella would have to be older. Carol and all these other people. And it's the finale, that last episode, I think falls flat for me personally. 1 through 9, I can hop on board with. But you give me a character, again, I'll keep this part brief, but you give me a character who has been told, who in his own brain thinks that everything is fate, right? He thinks everything is fate. He thinks his father, the big God, is pulling strings every step of the way. He thinks that everything, even Chloe being put here, is simply to test him. It's all one big scheme. Now, believes in fate. Now is willing to adhere to fate rather than trying everything in his damnedest, which he kind of did, but not really, to break that. I think the best course of action would have been for Lucifer. And you could sit there and say it could be, oh, that's just your headcanon, blah, blah, blah. But I honestly think it's what's best for the show is if Lucifer would have found a way to break that fate and found a way to, kind of like Amenadiel said, he could do double duty as being in heaven and being on earth. He could rule as God in a different sense and have the angels help him, and he can be in 2 places at once, and he can do these things while getting to watch his child grow up, spending time with Dr. Linda Martin, who hooks up with a random person. So where does Amenadiel end up in the love sphere of it? Does him and Dr. Linda get back together? We don't know. We don't know. He's the big God. He ain't got time for marriage, I guess. Look what happened with his father. Now, with all that going on, with Amenadiel wanting to do that, why is it Lucifer couldn't? Why is it Lucifer couldn't be in hell, helping these souls and coming back up to earth? Because remember, thousands of years in hell is just a month or so on earth. He could have easily spent time down there, came up, spent time, went back and forth. Boop, 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 boop. You have the rest of eternity to heal those damn souls. You are an immortal being. You don't have to do it right now. You don't have to do it during the time your daughter's growing up and during the time your wife is aging and growing. You can do all of that. And then once Chloe dies, right? And now she's with you forever. Now you can work on that more. And eventually everybody's there. You go up to heaven, bing, bam, boop, happily ever after. I think Lucifer should have broke the future thing. It should have been a scene where Rory disappears like she did, but it's because of Lucifer's actions to stay and prove that he is going to be a good father. And Lucifer gets a chance to be a father and to have a scene with Lucifer. You saw how he interacted with baby Charlie. To have Lucifer holding his daughter, to holding Aurora, holding his baby, with his family around him, being Chloe, Amenadiel, Maze, Ella, Eve, Carol. Dan could be there in ghost form. Maybe something happens where Dan is, I don't know, something weird. Dan's promoted to be an angel, basically. And now Dan's here in form. And he's with Trixie and all these other people. And you can explain that however you want, but you can have this family around him. And you can see that he's going to be a good father. And he gets those opportunities to raise her and to be there with Chloe, the woman that he loves, instead of, what is it, billions of years probably passing by while he's down there and she's just up there croaking? Come on, man. I think that's what happened. Rory should have disappeared. Lucifer should have then at that point just lived his life, showing that there is no fate, no destiny. You can be who you want to be, and you're not thrown into a line you have to follow. I don't agree with the ending. I think it left me wanting more, and then you just have Chloe showing up, after going to purgatory, whatever. Amenadiel sends her to hell just to be with Lucifer. She's not going to hell, but her and Lucifer share that kiss. I guess those other people are still in there in the room, in Dr. Linda's mirror room. She's definitely dead at that point where Chloe's dead, so she could have been down there as well. She was older than Chloe. I don't know. I just something about it, man. I don't know how to feel. Him and There was no wedding. I would have loved to have seen Lucifer and Chloe get married, kept getting weddinged. It would have been cute to watch them get married in some sense. It didn't have to be a traditional marriage, but they could have exchanged rings or something. Lucifer gave her ring. She could have gave him a ring. She could have even turned the bullet necklace into a wedding ring. Right? Like they could have done something along those lines. They could have shared something between them that could have ended up being a ring. It could have been funny. It could have been serious. Does Chloe become Chloe Morningstar? Does Lucifer become Lucifer Decker? Does he go weird and not weird, but does he go and take the woman's name? Or do they just appeal to the fans and it's Chloe Deckerstar, Lucifer Deckerstar? They merge their names. They create a new bloodline. You could have done so many cool things and have them have a wedding and have them be married and everybody be together and all happy. Everybody's separated. I know part of that was probably due to the pandemic and everything else when filming. You don't also have in episode 9, you don't get a Lucifer and Eve farewell. They have a moment together, but I think Lucifer and Eve could have had a really in-depth conversation and really got that extra level of closure that I think Eve really never got on screen. She kind of did, but didn't. And Lucifer's growth and telling all of his friends bye in episode 9 was very beautiful. And just, I feel like they dropped the ball. That's my personal opinion. You can let me know how you feel. That's season 6 wrapped up. That's probably one of the longer wrap-ups, but again, it is for the final season. And we'll have more stuff in the series recap, which will be in a couple days. The series recap will basically just kind of be, hey, this was Lucifer. These are a couple big things that happened, maybe. But overall, the JerAwards for the full thing and then the full season rankings. So, with that out of the way, it's now time for the Lucifer Season 6 JerAwards. First up, favorite episode. Your nominees. Season 6, Episode 4, Pin the Tail on Daddy. Episode 5, The Murder of Lucifer Morningstar. Episode 6, A Lot Dirtier Than That. Episode 7, My Best Friend's... I did it again. My Best Fiend's Wedding. Episode 8, Save the Devil, Save the World. Episode 9, Goodbye, Lucifer. Your winner for favorite episode is episode 9, Goodbye, Lucifer. His series of farewells to everybody was very emotional and it was very beautiful. Favorite scene, your nominees. Season 6, Episode 1, Lucifer, Not Wanting Magic Ruined for Him. Episode 3, Dan warning Lucifer about the evil angels. Episode 4, Dan being able to talk to Amenadiel and Maze. Lucifer coming to realize Rory is his daughter. From Episode 5, Family Therapy. Episode 6, Lucifer having Christmas for Rory. Also from Episode 6, any of the Sonia scenes. From Season 6, Episode 7, Maze and Eve's Wedding. Episode 6-9, Lucifer's Goodbyes. Trixie beating Lamech's ass. Dan going to heaven, or Dan and Charlotte together in Season 6, Episode 10. And your winner for favorite scene, well, it was Maze and Eve's wedding, because why wouldn't it be? These two actually got a good conclusion to their relationship. Not that Lucifer and Chloe didn't, but Maze and Eve together, very, very beautiful. Dan and Charlotte together, also up in heaven, is right there with it. And I really love those two scenes, but Maze and Eve's wedding just put a big fat fucking smile on my face, and I loved everything about it. Most heartbreaking scene from Season 6, Episode 1, Ella telling Lucifer it was like no one was upstairs for her prayers. From Season 6, Episode 2, Ella talking about Carol and Pete to Chloe. Episode 4, Dan seeing Chloe and Trixie mourning him. Episode 7, Eve and Maze almost breaking up. Episode 8, Ella venting about not being the only one that didn't know. Episode 9, Dan talking to Trixie in Lamech's body. Episode 10, Rory going back to the future. Lucifer leaving again, going against majority of what his character was set up to be. And from Season 6, Episode 10, the entire finale, because that was, in fact, the series finale. The most heartbreaking scene, though, has to be Ella venting about being the only person not knowing. She's sitting there and she's like, hey, come on, guys. You left me out. You cared so little about me to not, like, I couldn't be one of the cool kids in the inner circle. Pain. Pain for Ella. Funniest scene, your nominees from Season 6, Episode 5, Dan whispering to Amenadiel as a ghost. Rory joking about people's futures. From Episode 8, Serious Dan. Him sitting there. From Episode 9, Dan taking over Lamech's body. And your winner from Season 6, Episode 9, is Dan taking over Lamech's body because it made me chuckle and he walked into a door and he's in a whole new body. And then it made me happy. He's got to go see Trixie. That was my funniest scene. Favorite kiss? Your nominees from Season 6, Episode 7, Eve and Maze. From Season 6, Episode 8, Carol and Ella. From Season 6, Episode 10, Lucifer and Chloe's final kiss. And your winner is season 6, episode 7, Eve and Maze kissing at my best fiend's wedding. Because I love them. Favorite kill, I have one nominee and one winner, Chloe killing Lamech in season 6, episode 10. When it comes to favorite quote, I didn't have one. So, for favorite, there was a bunch of good quotes, I just didn't write any down. For favorite case, season 6, episode 1, the magic act. I think that was like the only true case. But regardless, I enjoyed it, so. Favorite friendship. Your nominees, Lucifer and Amenadiel, Lucifer and Dr. Martin, Maze and Trixie, Maze and Dr. Martin, Lucifer and Dan, hashtag Bracelet Bros, Amenadiel and Dan, Lucifer and Ella, Chloe and Dr. Martin, Chloe and Dan, Maze and Eve, Lucifer and Trixie, Lucifer and Aurora. Some of those didn't get too much screen time. I just kind of have like a blanket document here, but I do have to say that my favorite friendship that is, over the course of the season, it was going to be Lucifer and Rory. It was. But it took a minute to grow, and I really enjoyed them together, but it was always a lot of back and forth. So instead, I gave it to Amenadiel and Dan. They were legit best friends, and they made up for everything, and Dan following him around was super wholesome. Maze and Dr. Martin didn't get too much. Ella kind of felt like she was nowhere. Carol kind of felt like he was nowhere. Trixie, very little screen time. Lucifer and the other people had good moments, him and Maze especially, but I just felt like Amenadiel and Dan got the most of it on screen for season 6. So that's my favorite friendship. Favorite ship. Your nominees. Lucifer and Chloe. Amenadiel and Dr. Martin. That's a ship in my brain. Maze and Eve. Ella and Carol. Do you know who it is? Runner-up's going to be Maze and Eve, and we'll give it yet again, to Lucifer and Chloe for season 6's favorite ship. I was kind of going to outright give it to Maze and Eve throughout the season, and then, they kind of had their little debacle. They bounced back from it. They were both hesitant on things happening. But then, Lucifer and Chloe's been the whole reason for this show, and they did get their moment at the end. They are together forever. It's still pretty shitty what happens in between, but overall, I do love them together. Least favorite character is Adam, the first dude, plain and simple. Favorite character, your nominees, Lucifer, Chloe, Trixie, Dr. Linda Martin, Maze, Amenadiel, Ella, Eve, Carol, and I guess Rory as well. Favorite character for season 6, your winner, having not won since season 1, is Lucifer. Outside the last episode, Lucifer's growth and development was very beautiful. He does continue to grow in the last episode to obviously go to hell and do all that stuff and free those peeps, but should have been better in my opinion. Oh, also, most underrated character, Dr. Linda Martin. She just is. And now for the season name. What did we end up naming season 6? Season 6's overall name, simply Back to the Future, aka Rory the Future Baby. Back to the Future, that's the name for season 6. For the season 6 finale name, When I See You Again. It's been a long day. It was He Giveth and Taketh Away, because Lucifer gives Chloe a baby and then takes himself away. So it could go either way there. But with that out of the way, we have one thing left, and it's super short. It's the in memorial. In loving memory to the following people: Jared, Fred, Kevin, Dan, going to heaven. So his medium body is gone. All the bad guys, Lucifer and Chloe killed. Lamech, and of course, Chloe Decker. Big rest in peace to Chloe Decker in the future. And not to mention everybody else that probably died, such as Ella, Dr. Linda Martin, etc. Those peeps are probably dead. Rest in peace to all that stuff. Right then and there. In closing, I really think we should have had something at the end. Maybe you could have got an older person to play Trixie. Even though Trixie was starting to look old enough as is, you could have had her a little bit, like, looking a little older to be with Aurora there in Chloe's final moments. We could have had an older person playing baby Charlie. You could have had any of those things. I would have liked to have seen Lucifer reconnecting with a lot of old peeps, a lot of old friends, if they could have got them, whether it be for acting wise, just scheduling, pandemic, whatever. Father Frank would have been cool, but he was mentioned on the board. I would have liked to have seen Amenadiel becoming God for the first time, going to meet Caleb, and him and Caleb having a moment, since that was such a big thing that happened. That would have been really nice. We never got anything with Ella and Ray Ray, and there's a lot of unanswered questions. I enjoyed Lucifer overall as a whole. We'll talk about that in a different video. But Lucifer season 6 was enjoyable. I'm just not a fan of the very last episode of the finale. And I'm excited to see what you all think. If you love the finale, if you hated the finale, no matter what it is, I want to know. Just know that all the winners from this and all the winners from the previous 5 seasons will all be up for nomination. They will all be nominees in the upcoming Lucifer JerAwards for the series recap. We'll see how it goes. We'll see who finishes where, who takes home all the top prizes, and then all of those nominees in that episode, in that video, will all be up for nomination for the 2023 JerAwards at the end of the year. So you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions on season 6, especially the finale. And yeah, we'll have character rankings, series recap, trailers, all of that stuff. Tomorrow will be Lucifer's season 1 trailer. Season 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 will follow in that order. Series recap, character rankings, this, that, and the other. We'll have those up. We'll have stuff ready to go. But for now, I'm out. Don't forget, guys, the schedule. February 1st, first episode of Wednesday. First 2 episodes of Wednesday. February 5th will be the first 2 episodes of Arcane. And February 6th will be season 1, episode 1 of Supernatural. As always, links and everything will be in the description box down below. Playlist will be up on screen. Stay cute, stay hydrated, and I'll catch you on the next one.